Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is an absolutely beautiful day to be a fan of the show, and we have so much to unpack. I hope you have your massive cup of coffee ready, because we are diving deep into the daytime drama madness, and we need to talk about everything. I cannot believe what I just watched. I am sitting here typing furiously in the middle of the night, staring at my screen because my mind is completely blown by that preview clip for the next 3 weeks. Are we seriously watching Valentin Cassadine, the man who is usually 10 steps ahead of literally everyone in Port Charles, completely lose his mind in Carly's attic? I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and this is easily one of the most frustrating and intense things they have done with his character. He is usually the smartest guy in the room, the ultimate chess player, but right now he is totally blind to what is right in front of his face. And the fact that he is having this meltdown while hiding out in Carly's attic, the irony is just too rich. Let's just jump right into it because I am losing my absolute mind over Valentin and Jocelyn Jax. So, Jocelyn is standing there in the attic playing rogue WSB agent. And can we talk about how wild it is that Jocelyn, of all people, is suddenly the one piecing all this together? I know some people are loving this whole junior spy era for her, but personally, I am so conflicted. But I have to give her credit where it is due. She is the one who found Cesar Faison's book, The Crystalline Conspiracy, and those trademark cigarillos in Ross Cullum's coat pocket when she was snowed in at Windermere. She brought the evidence straight to Valentin, and now he's just exploding at her, demanding answers that neither of them have yet. And Valentin is just holding this book, pacing around like a caged animal. We all know this book. We know exactly what Cesar Faison was capable of, and his sick, twisted obsession with Anna Devane. Faison dedicated his entire miserable life to terrorizing that poor woman. And the Crystalline Conspiracy is basically his manifesto. But here's what is making me want to scream at my screen. Valentin is ranting and raving, shouting that he knows there is a connection, but he just isn't seeing it. Hello, Windermere? Anna was held captive at Windermere before she was unceremoniously dumped in France. How is he not putting two and two together? Because think about it for just 1 second. Cullum was the one who donned the Faison getup as part of his sick plan to gaslight Anna about Faison's survival. Cullum is the reason Anna had that massive psychic break that landed her in a mental health facility in the first place. And Valentin is just standing there holding the absolute proof in his hands, and his brain is short-circuiting. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself because there is a missing link here, and I think it has everything to do with Nathan visiting Cullum in his hospital room. If Valentin finds out about that specific visit, the whole house of cards is going to come crashing down in spectacular fashion. And while we are on the topic of Carly's attic, can we just take a tangent to talk about the absolute hypocrisy of Carly right now? She is hiding Valentin, a wanted WSB fugitive, in her house while simultaneously sleeping with Jack Brennan, the WSB director. The sheer audacity of this woman. Valentin is up there trying to solve a global conspiracy, and Carly is downstairs playing a dangerous game of bed-hopping espionage. It is peak soap opera, and I'm entirely here for the mess, even if it makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes. Okay, back to the main point, because as much as I am screaming at Valentin, my heart is literally in my throat over Britt Westbourne and fake Nathan. I'm sorry, but Cassius Faison is absolutely terrifying. We see this massive confrontation between Britt and Cassius, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Britt is grilling him about Rocco Falconeri shooting Ross Cullum, and you can just see the sheer panic in her eyes. The stakes have never been higher for her. So Rocco, sweet traumatized Rocco, actually came clean to Britt in the GH chapel. He told her that he was the one who pulled the trigger to save her and Jason Morgan on Pier 55. And Britt's reaction is everything. She is completely freaking out, and rightfully so. If Cullum finds out you shot him, we're dead. Britt has been through hell and back. Remember when she stole Lulu's embryo all those years ago to have Rocco? She has this incredibly complex, messy maternal bond with this boy. She might not be his primary mother figure, but she loves him, and she is terrified that the WSB is going to wipe him off the map. Then we have Cassius. Britt goes to Cassius seeking reassurance, begging him to protect Rocco no matter what, and Cassius, in that chilling not Nathan voice, just says that Rocco's guilt is going to be the least of his problems if Cullum suspects the truth. Cassius is basically looking at his own sister and saying, If the WSB director finds out a teenager shot him in the back, that kid is going to disappear. It is so incredibly dark, and it just reminds us of the cursed Faison bloodline. First Britt, then Nathan, then Peter August, and now Cassius. It never ends with this family. But here's where I contradict myself. Because as much as I hate Cassius for impersonating his dead twin brother and playing these sick games with Lulu's heart, I kind of think he actually cares about Rocco. Am I crazy for thinking that he tells Britt that he isn't a monster and that he doesn't believe a kid like Rocco deserves to face a grim fate at Cullum's hands? But Britt is highly suspicious, and honestly, so am I. She thinks Cassius is only stepping up because of his romantic relationship with Lulu. And speaking of Lulu, she is already fuming. Cassius apparently admits to Lulu that Rocco spilled the shooting secret to Britt. Can you imagine being Lulu right now? Your son shoots a man, Jason Morgan takes the fall and gets shipped off to a WSB prison. And your son confesses to the woman who literally stole him as an embryo instead of coming to you. I would be losing my absolute mind. Lulu is under so much pressure, especially with Dante Falconeri digging into the investigation. Dante knows something is up. He is pushing for answers. And it is only a matter of time before he busts this whole thing wide open. And let's take a moment to honor Jason Morgan. Jason is sitting in a WSB holding cell, taking the fall for a teenager, because that is just what Jason does. He sacrifices his own freedom to protect the people he cares about. But how long can Jason stay locked up before Danny Morgan does something incredibly reckless? Danny is already trying to align himself with Sonny's mob to take down Jen Sidwell because he thinks Sidwell is the reason Jason is gone. The domino effect of Rocco pulling that trigger is destroying half the families in Port Charles. Shifting gears completely, let's talk about Felicia Scorpio. The preview shows Felicia getting some incredibly disturbing information, and we all know what this has to be about. Anna Devane. Anna has been locked away in that mental health facility, insisting she had to stay away from Port Charles to protect everyone from Cesar Faison's lingering threats. But if Felicia is looking that alarmed on the phone, something major has happened at that clinic. Is Anna going to escape the mental health facility? Because I am calling it right now, Anna is breaking out. If she somehow gets wind that Faison's book is circulating or that his legacy is still terrorizing her friends, there is no way she stays in that bed. She is going to go full super spy mode break out of that facility and come back to Port Charles to handle business. And honestly, I am entirely here for it. We desperately need Anna Devane back on the canvas to sort out this massive mess. Because Valentin is clearly too blinded by his own frustration to figure it out himself. Okay, let's pivot to the Laura Collins of it all, because Lulu is getting highly suspicious of her mother, and frankly, so am I. Lulu is questioning Laura about her sudden change of heart regarding Ezra Boyle. Remember when Ezra was just Jen Sidwell's sleazy go-between? The guy who was basically helping Sidwell keep Laura in line after Sidwell framed her for murder. Yeah, well, now Laura is suddenly developing a soft spot and protecting him. And then we see Ezra himself questioning Laura. Ezra is standing there looking completely panicked and terrified, asking Laura why she isn't using the advantage she has right now. I mean, Ezra knows that Laura has the upper hand in their secret plot to take down Sidwell, but Laura is hesitating. Why is she hesitating? Sidwell is a global terrorist who put Holly Sutton and Lucky Spencer in extreme danger. He's a monster who literally threatened Ezra with a gun and told him he was expendable. Ezra is in way too deep, and he knows his life is on the line. Laura is playing a very dangerous game of 4D chess. She tells Ezra that they have to be incredibly careful about how they move forward with this takedown. But I am sitting here screaming at the screen, just do it, Laura. She has the power to crush Sidwell, but she is holding back. Maybe it is because of Jordan Ashford's undercover work, or maybe she is just terrified of the collateral damage. But seeing Ezra, a guy who used to be so smug, literally begging Laura to make a move, it shows just how terrifying Sidwell really is. Finally, I need to talk about the one pure thing in this entire preview clip. Giovanni Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake in New York City. We desperately needed a palate cleanser after all this mob and WSB trauma, and the writers actually delivered. Gio taking Emma to see Aladdin on Broadway is the cutest thing they have done in months. It is the perfect romantic getaway. Gio and Emma going backstage to meet Michael James Scott is exactly the kind of soapy, fun crossover event we deserve. Gio is quite literally jumping up and down, declaring that poor Charles isn't going to know what hit them. It is so refreshing to see Emma actually smiling and having a good time, especially with all the heavy, depressing news about her grandmother Anna hovering over her. She needed this win. And we know this is setting up Michael James Scott coming to perform at the Savoy in early May. I am so ready for some musical joy in Port Charles. Gio has been such a great addition to the teen scene, and his connections to the Broadway world just makes him so much more interesting. I know some people think the teen storylines are boring, but I will take this over another depressing hospital scene any day of the week. Let these kids have some fun before the inevitable drama ruins their lives. So what does all of this mean for the next 3 weeks? I am terrified and exhilarated all at once. The stakes have literally never been higher. We have Valentin on the verge of a massive WSB breakthrough, Britt and Cassius playing a deadly game of chicken over Rocco's freedom, Anna potentially escaping a mental ward, Laura plotting a mayoral takedown of a global terrorist, and a Broadway musical crossover just for fun. I am telling you, if you haven't been paying attention to the show lately, you need to tune in right now. May Sweeps is going to be an absolute bloodbath, and I am not ready, but I am also SO ready. I just need Valentin to open his eyes, Britt to protect that boy Jason to get out of jail, and Laura to finally drop the hammer on Sidwell. Is that too much to ask? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Because I am going to be awake all night obsessing over this